Who else is around there to kind of give you this level of confidence? Because with polymetallic comes complications. You've got to get the recoveries right. And, there's big capex somewhere down the line. So, who else is around there, which gives us a sense of what could be?
Well, one of the major projects that's well recognized is the San Cristobal deposit, which is about 180, 200 kilometers away in the department of Potosi, in the same mineralized belt. They have tonnage of around 350 million. They historically were the third largest silver mine in the world. But all their silver production, the cost came from the other metals, such as zinc and tin and things that they also separated and produced. We're not, obviously we're going to have to do a lot of metallurgy, but let's get these results first. I'm not saying, look, that we're going to drill 3,500 meters and we're going to replicate San Cristobal with their metallurgy. There's lots of work to do, but I think we've got a good start.
I think that's my point. It's early days for you guys. You've got a lot of work ahead of you. I'm just trying to get a picture of what it is that you think that you're going to be capable of delivering or you're working towards. So talk to me about money. So how much money is in the company at the moment?
We basically, it was just family and friends for the last couple of years. That's why I've always sort of deemed myself in these startups, because I've been involved in about 4 of them over the last 20 years. I always put money into them. And so I deem myself more as an entrepreneur than a promoter. But in our case, we basically we'd raised around $700,000 up until 2 or 3 months ago at a low price of 25 cents. We were then introduced to a fellow called Quentin Hennig through Dr. Quentin Hennig, through an associate friend of both of ours who resides in Lausanne, Switzerland, who is quite well known in his own right. And he's been a shareholder of some of my companies in the past. He really loved the Bolivia concept, even though Bolivia is deemed as a high-risk jurisdiction because of recent politics, but not recent, but politics from a couple of years ago, a year ago. So he was very interested. He was involved in a company called Aztec Silver, which was the precursor to San Cristobal. That was Tom Kaplan and Larry Buchanan. They went up to $1 billion market cap just on the discovery and potential of San Cristobal in 2000 to 2008. So he introduced myself to Quentin. We had a conversation. I had Dr. Oswaldo Arque on the line, and he was, I was surprised because we're always getting negatives from when we locked it up, going to the street a bit. People were a little concerned about Bolivia, never been drilled, no inferred resource. What are you guys doing? And so, it took time to, clarify the story, but Quentin got it immediately. And he did some checking. One of his big clients or investors is Sumitomo, that actually own the San Cristobal deposit in Bolivia. And Sumitomo were involved in a couple of his other projects, like I think IRV in Japan, 1 or 2 others. So I think he did a little checking, wondering, okay, how bad is Bolivia? And but he came back to us, and I think he was very intrigued with the actual the strength of the mineralization of this polymetallic deposit from the sampling and what he saw. So he came back to me a few days later and asked how much money we needed, and our 43-101 inferred resource, report basically stated we'd need around $1 million US to complete the first pass 3,500 meter drilling campaign. So that's what I mentioned, around 1.5 million. So he introduced me to a fund of his down in Denver that he's associated with called Crescat Capital. And they're basically a global macro asset manager with a preference, a slant towards precious metals. And so we had a long conversation with them, and they decided to ante up, and so they financed us with the 1.5 million, a 30-cent unit. And that's, so now, we're basically, we're light. We're about 1.7, 1.8 million cash right now.
Right, okay. And so what do you need to be able to get through to let's say beginning of next year?
Again, I would say 1 million US. And I think the way things are looking, it'll probably be less. The costs of drilling are a lot cheaper in Bolivia than they are in Peru or North America. So I think we'll be fine until sort of that January, February period.